It was almost 7 on a Thursday night, and the drafting room was dead quiet. Everyone else had cleared out by 5, but I was still hunched over my screen, running a final pass on the build specs for a suspension prototype. The only other person left was Erica, the new operations lead from some high-end logistics firm out of Chicago. She'd been there barely 3 weeks, but she walked around like her name was on the sign outside. She strolled over to my desk in those heels she always wore like she was headed for a podium. Didn't say hi, just leaned over, stared at my CAD window, and pointed. "You're logging the parts testing here?" she asked, tapping the section label with her pink nail. "That's what's causing the delay on the demo, right?" I nodded slowly. "That's the required step for anything going to external review. DOT regulations, standard stuff." She smiled, not the friendly kind, more like she was humoring me. Then she leaned in closer and lowered her voice. "Dot's just a suggestion," she whispered. "Keep it quiet, okay?" Before we continue, quick note, where are you watching from? I froze. Not because I didn't understand, I understood too well. It wasn't the first time she'd brushed off protocol, but this was the first time it hit a build tied to one of our biggest clients. Billion-dollar tier, one slip, and that prototype doesn't just fail, it drags us down with it. I didn't argue. Just clicked save and closed the CAD window. "Got it," I muttered, pretending not to care. She smirked, spun on her heel, and strutted out like she'd just handled a crisis. I watched her walk toward the glass doors, hips swaying, ponytail bouncing. She didn't look back. As soon as the door shut behind her, I opened the screen recorder on my desktop and backed up 10 minutes of footage. Her voice came through clear as day. "Dot's just a suggestion. Keep it quiet, okay?" I exported the file and didn't hesitate. No message, no details. I just dropped it in an email to the head of compliance with the timestamp in the subject line. Hit send. 10 minutes later, I got a one-line reply. Logged. I stared at the screen for a second, then locked my station, stood up, and walked out. I didn't know exactly what I'd started, but I knew I wasn't going to be the guy who looked the other way. The next morning, Erica was already planted at the front of the conference room when I walked in. Coffee in one hand, pointer in the other, like she was about to give a TED Talk. She'd pulled the entire design team into a 9 a.m. urgency sync, which was code for her steamrolling the process in real time. She clicked to the schematic slide and went straight in. "We're cutting the parts authentication step for this cycle. It's adding unnecessary friction, Paul." Our IT guy raised a hand. "Without that step, the sim doesn't validate the load tolerances. We won't know how it holds past 70 pounds per square inch." Erica didn't even blink. "It's just for show," she said. "This isn't going on the road. The client just wants to see progress. So show them something." That was her logic. A clean visual meant clean engineering. Problem was, the system didn't work like that. Visuals could lie, parts couldn't. Nobody pushed back. She moved on like Paul had never spoken. After the meeting broke, I caught up to Paul by the server closet. "Hey, archive that Slack thread, the one from last night, and the Jira ticket she had you close out." He gave me a look like he knew where this was going, but didn't want to say it out loud. Just nodded and kept walking. I went back to my desk and opened the day's screen recording. I had it set to auto-capture all conference calls and shared drive edits. It was quiet in the office now, just the faint hum of HVAC and my monitor fan. I scrubbed through the playback until I hit her voice again. Just a shortcut. Don't overthink it, same phrasing. Same whisper-smooth delivery like she was giving someone a tip on how to skip TSA lines. I clipped the audio and exported it. Second email to compliance. Same move. No commentary, no framing. Just a timestamp and a file link. No response this time. I checked the delivery status. Opened, 43 minutes after I sent it. That was enough for me. I created a new folder on my local drive, build variance notes, buried it in a nested directory under archived supplier memos. Nobody ever looked there. I started tagging everything: screen grabs, Slack logs, audio clips, Jira metadata, timestamps, hashes. Quiet, methodical. Not for revenge, for proof. I had no idea how far she'd go, but I'd seen this before. Not her, specifically, but this move. Cut a corner here, bury a risk there, rush the build, pass the blame. But this wasn't some warehouse fixture we were slapping together for a local mechanic. This was a component going into a platform demo for a global automotive brand. Erica didn't care. Not about safety, not about accuracy, just speed. Optics. That night, I stayed late again. Long after the cleaning crew had finished, I watched one of the junior draftsmen load up a new model. I could see the missing metadata right there in the version history. She was already cutting steps, handing out half-complete plans as final. I didn't say a word to him. Just waited for the office to empty out, then backed up the day's new files and locked my folder behind another layer of encryption. I wasn't playing defense anymore. I was building a timeline. By Monday morning, Erica had already changed the project label on the client build. Quietly, no meeting, no heads up, just a little drop-down switch in the metadata, from commercial grade to internal trial. That one move nuked 4 layers of compliance checkpoints. As long as it was internal, she could skip anything she wanted. Inspection logs, safety checklists, load testing reports, nobody noticed. Or if they did, nobody said a thing. Midweek, I caught her at one of the junior stations, leaning over Austin's desk. Austin was fresh out of community college, barely 4 months in. I overheard just enough as I passed. "Don't waste time on the materials trace log," she told him. "It's all domestic source. Nobody's checking that." Austin nodded like a scared kid getting coached for a pop quiz. I kept walking, didn't look back. That night, I started mirroring the entire shared directory, one folder at a time, everything Erica touched. Specs, logs, drawings, timestamps. I compressed them, encrypted them, and dropped each day's mirror onto a flash drive I kept in a hollowed-out mechanical pencil case. I labeled it plain and boring. Q4 tooling references. She moved fast, faster than I expected. By Wednesday, she'd pushed a full update to the parts compliance document, our only standing record for traceability. She didn't log any of the changes, no change request. No edit summary. I ran the SHA hash from the version before and the one she posted. Total mismatch. She'd deleted 3 entire compliance clauses and rewritten a 4th. Whole sections gone, with no explanation. I pulled both files side by side, took screenshots, exported hash records, dropped them into my archive. Next morning, a QA analyst named Brooke sent her a direct warning email. I only saw it because I had view rights on the QA queue. The subject line was clear. Missing changelog, potential non-conformance. Less than 20 minutes later, the email was gone, vanished, not archived, deleted from the chain. I didn't panic. I knew Outlook kept backup versions if you knew where to look. I grabbed the cached file from version history, exported it as a PDF, and saved that too. That was the moment I knew this wasn't just about speed anymore. She wasn't just shaving time. She was setting the stage for a performance. The big pitch was coming. We all knew that. End of the quarter, global OEM, massive opportunity. If we landed it, she'd look like a genius. But the prototype wasn't ready. It wasn't even safe. The testing steps she skipped weren't cosmetic. They confirmed structural integrity, load resistance, material fatigue, things that break under pressure, things that kill people. And Erica? She was building a PowerPoint. One of the newer drafters flagged a file conflict late Thursday. Erica had uploaded a duplicate part diagram under a new name. Same component, different tag, different trace. He was confused. She told him to delete the old one so it wouldn't clutter up the system. He did it. I restored the deleted file from backup and saved both versions, side by side, date-stamped, unedited. By Friday, I had over 24 entries in the archive, emails, clips, backups, audit diffs, Slack threads. The folder wasn't just a hedge anymore, it was an insurance policy. And every night, after the last car pulled out of the lot, I'd sit there in that dim office with just the vending machine buzzing behind me, loading my flash drive like it was a fuse. This wasn't about procedure anymore. This was someone dragging a whole company toward a cliff, and doing it with a smile. Paul met me in the shop kitchen just after 8. Place was dead quiet, just the hum of the fridge and the buzz of that dying fluorescent overhead. He looked like he hadn't slept. His shoulders were tight, fingers twitching around a paper coffee cup. "She wants me to bypass the diagnostics run," he said without even sitting. "Told me to reroute the workflow so it doesn't flag missing telemetry. Says the test data's not client-facing, so it's not worth stalling over." I leaned against the counter, arms crossed. "You log that?" He hesitated. "Yeah, in Slack. She asked me to delete the message right after. Said she didn't mean it, that literally, 'Don't delete anything,' I said. 'Not now. Not ever. Tag it and archive it somewhere off-cycle. Let me know if she touches your queue again.'" He nodded once, lips tight. Then he grabbed a pack of crackers and left without saying another word. That night at home, I pulled up my archive, now renamed If Pressed. I didn't even bother hiding it anymore. Every file labeled, tagged, cross-linked to timestamps. Nearly a month's worth of her decisions mapped out like a crime scene. Data trail manipulation, tag deletions, reclassified builds, system entries with her ID tied to changes she never mentioned in any meeting. I opened a recent prep call recording, pulled from the screen recorder that ran in the background of all team syncs. She was mid-pitch, going over demo slides, and someone brought up the missing checklist line items. She laughed, full-on laugh. Compliance is a checkbox for people with nothing better to do. I paused the clip, hit export, saved it under, calls greater than prep, greater than compliance underscore comments dot MP4. That wasn't a shortcut. That was the quiet part said out loud. The phrase started showing up everywhere after that, in slide decks, vendor calls, internal queue, and A sessions. She'd polished it up a bit. Compliance flexibility. I caught her using it in a meeting with a parts vendor based in Michigan. I screen recorded the call, trimmed the section, and dropped it in the folder. I didn't need to say anything. Her words were saying it for her. Then, out of nowhere, Friday afternoon, I got a Zoom invite. No subject. 5-minute block. From the head of compliance. I joined the call from my laptop in the conference room. Lights off, blinds drawn. He was already on camera. No intro, no small talk. "Did she say that publicly?" he asked. I didn't blink. "Multiple times?" He gave a small nod. "That's all for now." Call ended. Nothing more. I sat there for a minute watching the blank Zoom screen. I wasn't nervous, not anymore. I knew what I had. I knew what she'd done. And now, so did they. Monday morning, 10:57 a.m., and I was already logged into the demo call. Cameras off, mic muted, just a square in the corner of a 40-person Zoom packed with engineers, execs, and one woman about to overplay her hand. 3 minutes to go, and the chat was lighting up with international time zones and job titles I didn't recognize. All from the client, a global auto manufacturer with enough weight to bury us if we screwed this up. The kind of call you prep for weeks in advance. Erica had prepped for it by cutting half our safeguards and layering on some slick graphics. She messaged me privately. "Just take notes. Don't speak unless asked." I didn't reply. At 11 o'clock sharp, she turned on her camera. Polished, confident, background blurred, hair perfect, eyes locked on the screen like it was a camera test. "Good morning," she said brightly. "We're excited to walk you through our prototype's rapid development cycle. What we're showing you today is the future of agile engineering." The first 10 minutes were smooth. I'll give her that. Slides moved like a storyboard. Timelines, charts, renders, all crisp. She spoke fast, never stumbled. To someone outside the process, it looked tight. But I knew what wasn't there. Every slide hid what had been skipped, deleted, or renamed to look done. She hit the simulation run and breezed right over the missing validations. "Streamlined," she called it. Then came the question. One of the client leads, a guy from their systems verification team, leaned forward in his chair. His video was on, sharp suit, glasses, clipboard in hand. "Your prototype speed is impressive," he said. "Can you clarify how your compliance protocols allowed for this kind of acceleration?" Erica didn't miss a beat. She smiled. "We promote flexible compliance," she said. "We align intent, not checklist rigidity. That's how we move fast, everything stopped." She kept going, oblivious. "We don't let bureaucracy choke engineering. Instead, we trust our teams to adapt the spirit of standards to the realities of real-time iteration." I scanned the screen. My eyes went straight to the bottom corner. The participant list, Dylan M., legal counsel. Active. His name was flashing yellow. Live document access. He was digging into the system files right now. Erica started stacking phrases. Agile testing strategy. Lean documentation workflows. Outcome-oriented validation. It was like she'd swallowed a buzzword generator and hit puree. Then Dylan unmuted. Calm, flat. No expression. "Can you clarify?" he asked. "What framework flexible compliance refers to specifically?" Erica blinked. Just a second, but I caught it. The first break. She laughed. "Oh, that's just something we say internally. It's more of a mindset. You know, being responsive." Dylan didn't laugh. He muted again. And that was it. The shift. Everyone else kept pretending like the call was still normal. But the air was different. Lighter for some, heavier for others. I knew what just happened. She stepped in it. Big. Dylan was already pulling logs. Her words weren't a slip. They were evidence. And the best part? She still thought she was winning. The pitch ended with polite claps and thanks. Cameras flicked off, voices disappeared, and for about 5 seconds, I thought it was over. Then a new window popped open at the top of the screen. James H., CEO, joined. His camera came on, blazer, white collar shirt, no smile. He didn't even blink. "Please stay on the call," he said. The room went silent. The clients dropped. The product leads logged out. Sales, marketing, engineers, all gone in seconds. Only 4 squares remained. Me, Erica, Dylan from legal, and James. He turned his camera square toward Erica, like he was looking straight through the lens. "Did you really say that?" His voice was ice. "About flexible compliance." Erica straightened up, still on her heels. Her camera didn't shake, but her voice did, just enough. "It's internal language, team-facing, not a literal process step, just motivation." James didn't move, she rushed on. "It's urgency-driven, morale-focused. It's not how we actually operate. The intent is to move quickly without compromising." "Stop." James said it flat, not loud, just final. He nodded once at Dylan. That's when legal unmuted. Dylan leaned in, pulled up a file, and started reading. September 4th, 10:12 a.m. Quote, "Dots, just a suggestion." Erica blinked. September 11th, during the internal vendor prep call, "Compliance is a checkbox for people with nothing better to do." She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. September 17th, slide deck revision. Lean documentation, minimal burden validation. Deleted audit trail, recovered via version history. I didn't move. Neither did James. Erica looked at me. Her expression shifted, a flash of confusion, then something slower, heavier, realization. I didn't say a word. She knew. I'd logged it. All of it. I'd watched, listened, collected, and now it was all sitting in front of the CEO. James leaned back, gave one nod like he'd already made the call before he joined. "You're on leave effective immediately," he said. "We'll be in touch." Then, gone. His square vanished. Dylan looked at her for a second longer, then turned to me. Slight nod. His camera clicked off too. Just me and Erica now. No faces, just the digital dead space between us. She stared, eyes hollow, mouth barely open. I didn't flinch, didn't gloat, didn't soften it. I just closed my laptop. The next morning, Erica's name was gone, not just from the Zoom schedule, from everything. No listing in the org chart, no Slack status, no calendar events. Project files that used to say, "Last touch by Erica," now just showed a dash. Her directory folder, deleted, no email, no company-wide message. Not even a "thank you for your service." She vanished like she'd never been there. By noon, the first audit request hit my inbox, then another, then 5 more. File histories, version logs, change diffs. People wanted screenshots, timestamp trails, anything that could prove what was done, when, and by who. I didn't explain, didn't editorialize. I just answered. One by one, zip files, export logs, folder links. No opinions, just data. By the 3rd round, legal added me to a private calendar event, no title. Just 4 names. Me, Dylan, and 2 board members I'd never met. We met in the small compliance conference room off the 3rd floor. No cameras, no recordings. Phones off, laptops closed. Dylan started it. "We'd like to walk through the folder." The one labeled "if pressed." I pulled out the flash drive from my pocket, plugged it into the wall terminal. Screen lit up. "Start wherever you think we should," one of the board members said. I opened the first directory. "Here's the audio clip from September 4th. She said, 'DOT's just a suggestion.'" I played it. Crystal clear. Next file. Here's the Slack thread she had Paul archive. Right after she told him to bypass the diagnostics run, I clicked through the screenshots, showed the timestamps, the edits, the deleted messages still visible in version history. Next. This is the compliance document from September 10th. She deleted 3 sections and rewrote the load validation clause. I pulled up both versions, showed the SHA hash mismatch. Every few minutes, one of them would jot something down. But mostly they watched, listened, flipped through pages of a legal pad while I talked. No one interrupted. I kept going. Vendor calls, internal decks, Slack recoveries, deleted emails. At one point, Dylan asked how I'd gotten a specific version. Auto backup folder in SharePoint, I said. She didn't know it cached pre-deletion metadata. He nodded slowly. Smart. It took nearly 2 hours to walk through the whole thing. I didn't miss a single piece. When I finished, I sat back. One of the board members, older guy, navy blazer, gray buzz cut, looked straight at me. We'll be rewriting the compliance policy framework from scratch, he said. We'd like your help reviewing it. I didn't ask for a title or credit. I just nodded. This wasn't revenge. I wasn't here to settle a score or make noise. This was just doing what should have been done. 2 days later, my admin login changed. No email, no meeting, no handshake. Just a quiet permission shift in the back end that gave me full access to policy change logs and compliance approval queues. I clicked into Erica's old folder. It opened without resistance. The header now read, Interim Policy Oversight. My name. Didn't feel like a win. Felt like a handoff no one wanted to make out loud. That same afternoon, I passed one of the finance VPs in the hallway. Guy I'd only spoken to maybe twice before. He didn't slow down or stop, just muttered as he brushed past me. You kept us off the federal radar. No smile, no nod. Just kept walking like he'd read a weather report and moved on. Later that week, I noticed the audit templates changing. Quietly, line items reordered, tag requirements updated, and at the bottom of each footer, my initials, small, tucked into the version key like I'd been there all along. I didn't ask, I didn't need to. People started knocking before making assumptions. One of the younger engineers came by and asked if skipping a tolerance verification step on a supplier side quote was okay if the spec hadn't changed. Did you check trace history? I asked. He nodded. Yeah, no deltas. Then log it. Don't skip it. He nodded again and walked off. Simple, direct, no more shortcuts. It was slow at first, people asking instead of assuming, logging instead of deleting. But it stuck. The fear was still there, but it was turning into something different. Not fear of getting caught, fear of not knowing what the hell they were walking into. That night, around 10, I was still in the office. No lights except my monitor, a bottle of vending machine water half gone, and the hum of the network drive syncing files. I had 3 compliance trail requests to answer and a Jira history export open. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Just one message. You really did this? No name, no punctuation, but I knew exactly who it was. I stared at it for maybe 3 seconds. Didn't answer. Didn't even lock the screen. Just flipped the phone over, screen down on my desk, and kept working. There was nothing to say. I did. 1 week later, the company called an all-hands town hall. Midday. Cameras required. CEO front and center. I joined from my desk like everyone else. Same spot. Same mug. Just me and the screen. James didn't waste time. He didn't pace or preface, just looked straight ahead and said what needed to be said. Some recent decisions, he began, compromised our compliance posture, not just legally, operationally, ethically. He didn't say Erica's name, didn't have to. His tone was sharp, cold, controlled, the kind of voice that makes you sit up whether you're guilty or not. He paused, then added one line, slow and deliberate. If you hear someone say compliance is flexible, report it. Silence, and then every set of eyes, in every little square on that screen, turned to mine. I didn't speak, didn't nod, didn't smile, just held their stares, one by one until they looked away. Town hall ended with no Q&A. Cameras dropped, screens went dark, then the messages started rolling in. Thanks. I thought no one saw. You helped me breathe again. One hit harder than the rest. I deleted something last year because she told me it didn't matter. I couldn't sleep since I didn't reply. None of them needed answers. I just sat there, at the same desk I'd been at all along. Same wall calendar. Same half-dried-out pen. Same chipped mug with the faded shop logo. But something had shifted. The silence around me wasn't fear anymore, or ignorance, or convenience. It was respect. That was enough.